So, we're back on King St. John's Station. This is the third match of the evening. Spawning to the bottom, no, spawning to the top left position in pink, it's Lady Azylis as Protoss. And to the bottom right, in blue, it's the Zerg NoveaStar. Doing the extract trick, as usual. So, last time we saw Novea, she was also playing a Protoss. And she used a lot of Ling Muta style, so let's see if she's going to do it again. Or if she tries to do something else. In this case, she's not going for an early hatch. Or she's going for a hatch down here. No, it's a drone scout. Okay, who'd have thunk? But it's a drone scout with actually a very nice pattern down here. Let's have a look at that once more. Yeah, very nice scouting pattern here. So in the meantime, Azylis is taking her first gas after the gateway. And then just probably waiting for the gateway to finish in order to get down her cybernetics core to create an even bigger wall with just a small gap where then one unit can block the entrance inside the main base. So there it comes. Or even no, even being greedy and going for an access before the cybernetics core. So Novea just scouts that, knows exactly what she's up against. And there it is, with a small gap, small enough to even let a drone through. But no other units once a unit has been set between this little gap. So, inside this little gap between the building and the ledge. So there's the hatchery incoming, and we have the spawning pool. Nothing spectacular right now. Overlord just putting its way back to here so it can fly in later on to get a better grasp of what our opponent is doing. Speed incoming, and a few more drones. And there's the robotics facility as first choice. I don't really know if that is a really wise choice, we'll see later on, but like I said before, we've seen NoveaStar liking her Mutalist play. And, well, guess what's bad against Mutalist? It's unit that cannot shoot up, which the Robo actually produces only. So, yeah, this might cause some trouble later on. In the meantime, Novea just tries to get her two mineral lines completely saturated, not really opting to take a third base, so it's probably going to be 2-base Muta once more. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to later stages of the league, once players finally get to adjust to their opponent's game, because the more often you play them and the more often you watch them play, you really get an idea of how your opponent ticks and what she is doing most of the time and what builds she likes, what holes their builds have, and then maybe you'll be able to make use of that, even if you are a supposedly low league player or a lower league of your opponent. So this is probably going to be very interesting in the future, and I'm really looking forward to that. But this is of course the second week, and players still have to find out who their opponents are, what they usually like to do, and yeah, just have to adjust a little. And even maybe getting more into the game. But I think, as far as I've seen it, a lot of female players have already started to practice more, to play more than they did before the league. And I think that's already a good thing. So, Immortal incoming. So we don't have any clear tech choice for now, but there's a layer incoming. And we don't have any Roach Warren or anything. So it seems as if Novea really wants to get straight into her Mutas. Or maybe not. Maybe she's just making me lie. Oh, there's the Roach Warren. Never mind. How did I overlook it? I was always... Okay, probably just because the screen is just not as big as it used to be when I used the game out overlay. But yeah, okay, never mind. There's the Roach Warren. So it's the Glial Reconstitution. The move speed for the Roaches. So it might be a bigger Roach push. Okay, never mind. So there's the Warp Prism full of Immortals right now. And actually now this could actually turn around. While I was just so focused on the potential Muta build, thinking I was so clever knowing her already, she just went into Roaches. But Roaches get countered pretty hard by Immortals. Not only by Immortals, but by Immortals pretty much. So let's see if Azylis can really make something happen here. In the meantime, I'm a bit worried that Novea is not really opting for a third base. I think she doesn't really know that her opponent has no third base yet. She has an Overlord hanging over here, but not using it for scouting information, just mostly for warp prisms moving outside the base. Has she seen the warp prism? She now has, at least. Maybe she's even seen it a little bit earlier, because the warp prism was moving out across this part, so maybe this Overlord spotted it beforehand. But yeah, at this point, Azylis is just moving towards the third base, which is just natural, because you would normally assume there to be a third base, but there isn't, which will be quite a surprise for Azylis. And then we really have to see how she reacts. If she now is afraid of moving in because she thinks that, well, there's no third base, there should be a lot of roaches, or a lot of units at least, so maybe I shouldn't go in, but, well, maybe since I'm here I should as well check. And that's what the Adept actually best for. You could normally just shade forward and see what your opponent has. Now has to be careful not to stand right inside the biles. Okay, now she's moving in. Well, there's a lot of roaches in the front, but the Immortals are already dishing out a lot of damage. Some of the biles have already been spent. Not that big bile shots here, but now finally the Mothership Go dies, and the Immortals don't have any retreating possibility right now. I'm being shot at by the Ravagers, and this is actually now the biggest problem. Of course, the Immortals deal a lot of damage to the Roaches, but not to the Ravagers, because the Ravagers don't have an armored attack. They are just light units, or actually no units at all. They don't have even a light attack nor an armored attack. It's just biological. So the only thing that really does extra damage to them are Archons, if I recall correctly. And yeah, there is one, right as I say it. But of course, the meat in front of the units are normally Roaches, and the Roaches can get torn down by Immortals quite easily. So I have to be careful. But yeah, there's a lot of spine crawlers in the way, there's a lot of narrow space. Now the Immortals are not really attacking the right units, and the biggest problem is that she doesn't really have anything good against the Ravagers, and this is just too few units. Now trying to morph something in, biles raining down on the Immortals, and Azylis has to give up. GG, and Novea takes the first game. One lost towers, and spawning to the top right position in pink. It's Azylis, being down 1-0. And to the bottom left in blue we have NoveaStar, our Zerg player from NA. Azylis coming from Germany. And not from NA, from USA. Coming from the USA. Azylis coming from Germany. And there's an early pool into spawning pool, so it looks as if Novea really wants to break through. This is an actually quite interesting build on this map, and maybe that's why she's doing it. So this build normally wants to go into early speedlings to tear down your opponent pretty quickly. The difficulty on this map is that you normally can take a backdoor expansion with every race, and you just have to defend this small little ramp down here. With a Mothership core, a pylon and a few units, it's actually quite easily done against a few speedlings. But of course, if you have enough and you just keep on pushing and just tearing down these buildings little by little, you might eventually get through. And if you got a lot of speedlings inside your base that early, you're just dead meat as Protoss. But of course, like I said, it's difficult. It's not as easy to be done on this map than on others. So, like I said, it's a bit surprising that NoveaStar tries to do it on this map. Azylis already realizes that there's no expansion down here. She really has to check the third base over here in order to be really certain what's coming her way. But if she's paid attention, she's seen the spawning pool wiggling, thus knowing that there's a research being done, so she should know what's coming away. Yeah, and of course there's a Baneling Nest. That would have been the other thing I would just wanted to point out a little bit later, because like I said, with only Lings it's difficult, but if of course you have a lot of Lings and Banelings, you can just send the Banelings ahead of the army, just crushing through one of these buildings, and then the main entrance is wide open for the links. And even you could just tear this little zealot down with the banelings and then just run through here. So if Novea really manages to do that and to do it without her opponent knowing, then this might cause an early end to that game. So we'll see what's going to happen. More links. Of course, Novea is all in. And Azylis is just trying frantically to get out more units here. Yeah, she can't really afford to move that zealot outside the gap because then the links will run in. But she also has to take care that this will not be wide open. She actually has to get something that will... Ooh, nicely done here. So now the first pylon cannon was fired and she's safe for now. But I think she should be aware what's going on right now. Now she finally sees that there are banelings in the mix. So she should actually try to re-wall off this area, which is a bit problematic because you need a lot of buildings to re-wall here. And thus a lot of resources, which she just doesn't have right now. Oh, she actually has. Never mind. So Novea may be realizing that it won't be so easy to break through, thus taking a second base, just in case it won't work, so that she has a backup plan and is not totally all in and will have to GG out. I don't really know if I like this wall off to the right hand side, because actually this building is so damn low, but luckily for her the banelings don't detonate into that injured gateway, but more into the units that were over here. So I think that's actually it for right now. So Novea tried to make something happen with the early attack, but couldn't. In the meantime, she's now trying to drone up, not trying to commit any more into that little push here, but she's behind right now. Her base is a lot later than that of her opponents. She has a lot less drones right now, and yeah, Azylis actually gained quite some advantage at that point by protecting her main entrance from Novea's aggression. So it has to be careful, of course, to further produce more probes, otherwise she'll lose her lead pretty easily, or fairly easily. Not pretty easily, but fairly easily. So Novea just trying to drone up right now. I think it would have been wise to leave some Zerglings right above here, especially at the third base. You normally always want to know if a Protoss just takes a quick third, which actually Azylis could do right now, uncontested. So no problem here. So yeah, you normally want to have a Zergling over here, maybe even some scouting Zerglings over here, so that you know if your opponent tries to do some sort of counter harassment or push. Oh, and now she has to tear down the full HP warp gate instead of the low HP warp gate. I think this is just being mentally occupied by something else. So you normally wouldn't do that. Why would you kill the full health warp gate if you could also just kill the other one? I mean, yes, of course, this is the warp gate that has just the smaller entrance. That's right. But I don't know if this is really worth it. No matter. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, now again we have this small area here, which is easier to close off with a unit, but yeah, whatever. Okay, Overseer just moving in. Getting some more scouting information. We'll see all these gateways probably, and then Novea should know what's coming away. In the meantime, she's going for her Spire. And now we're back to what I predicted in the first game, but it actually didn't happen. Don't really know if that's the best decision at that point. We'll see how it's going to work out. But of course, going into Mutas after being so delayed economically on two bases is a bit risky. I think there are a lot of timings where Protoss could just walk across the map and kill you in the meantime. Because like I said, it just takes so much time. First you have to get your base saturated, you have to get your layer up, you have to get the Spire, then you have to have enough drones and gases in order to really produce a lot of mutas. But yeah, Novea is just sitting back at the moment. She's not being pressured at all. And taking a little risky, but it's probably going to pay off, since Azylis just missed her opportunity to walk across the map and kill her opponent while she was defenseless. But yeah, now she's finally saved enough resources, so once the Spire pops, she'll be able to produce a handful of mutas right away. And this will be a big problem for Azylis, I think, because she doesn't have, well, not any anti-air, but there's one Stalker. And of course the Mothership Core, so some photon overcharges will be available as well. But yeah, that's actually the only anti-air she has. And we've seen... and we actually saw Azylis play against Enolia last week, where she really struggled against Muta play. So I think this might cause a lot of damage right now to her. She doesn't She doesn't have any cannons. Like I said, only one little stalker, and it's at the wrong position. Wouldn't really make a difference anyways. So now I wanted to say Azylis moves out. Yeah, and this is also the anti-timing, which is a bit unfortunate here. Also moving out with all the units, so nothing is left to defend at her home base. Where are the mutas actually? Where are they right now? I just try to see them on the minimap, but I can't. There they are. Okay, never mind. So not even close. So now, well, okay, now she even may have to use them for defense, which is... now we have finally some more stalkers here. So it seems as if Azylis is quite aware of her opponent being able to have some mutas around, but she doesn't really have a warp in point. Ah, there it is. Okay, it's quite backwards. A bit unusual. So moving in more stalkers since she's seen all the mutas coming in. So, ooh, only part of the army is fighting. Wow, bad misclick here by Lady Azylis. That's, oh, unfortunate. She wanted to... What did she want to do there? I don't actually get it. Did she just shade there? That was a bit awkward. Oh no, she shaded, yeah. She shaded into the main base. Trying to do more... okay. Shades! They have such a long range. My god. But yeah, Azylis just realizes there's a lot of mutas. I don't have any anti-air. There's nothing I can do. So I just GG out. And Novea takes the second game. It's Frost again, spawning to the top right position in pink. It's Lady Azylis, the Protoss player from Germany. And to the bottom right in blue we have NoveaStar fighting for the USA. Doing the good old extractor trick once more. Yeah, Frost, I think the biggest map in the map pool right now. Well, maybe I think the cross position spawn location should be the longest distance from one main base to the other. But there might be the new maps that have a longer distance because they. I mean, these are the maps where you just spawn horizontally. But you have to walk like a long curve to get to your opponent's base, so it might even be as long. But it's a pretty long rush distance cross position. Even spawning vertically means that you normally have a long distance to cover from here over to here. That's really a long way to rush. So Novea again going for the early scout, being lucky, finding her opponent quite early. Who's going for a gateway expand. While Novea herself this time again tries to go for a normal build, no cheese this time, although it didn't really hurt her back in the last game. Azylis down to 1-0, no, what am I saying? Azylis down 0-2, that's actually what the standings are right now, so she has to win the next 3 games in order to take this series, which is going to be a difficult task. The pressure is on her right now. While Novea can just play whatever she wants quite lightheartedly, because she knows she's up 2-0. She might even lose one game, it doesn't really matter that much. She can always take the next. So every game is match game for her, and that of course relieves a player a lot of pressure that she might have at that moment. So, metabolic boost incoming. That's pretty typical. It's the first measure of defense. You want to have some links ready with speed in order to track down probes, in order to defend the first few adepts that might come your way, or maybe even a zealot, or even a brave stalker that just went the wrong way and tried to scout you for information. You can also use these speed links in order to track down proxy positions, proxy pylons, proxy gateways, whatever there's proxied near your base. So that's what you normally want to do. And the Roach one once more, so it's going to be the Roach build probably from the first game we saw on King Sejong Station. Again, 2-base, so Novea really liking her 2-base play. We'll see whether this is coming to bite her in later sessions with other players. Or maybe she's just playing it deliberately because she knows her opponent. So, 2 gateways closing off the area to Lady Azylis' main base. And the Adept seals the deal. She even has a probe down here, which doesn't really do much, since as we can see right now, these links over here are not spotted. They are just small enough to not get into the circle of vision. So it doesn't really help her as much to have the probe down here. But of course, if you want to have a probe close by in order maybe to get another good scout later on, it's the best thing you can do. Ooh, even getting this little Adept over here that was just on its own. Ah, careful. And Azylis just saves her Adept back into the gap. But of course, yeah, this is now the problem with having... okay, there's the phone overcharge. But this is of course a big problem with not having your buildings in line if you build a wall. One of the buildings will just give the opponent so much more surface area to attack it and will just fall way more easily than the other. Okay, Novea has to be careful, not really paying attention, but okay, now sees the Adepts coming, trying to move back more, now knows that 4 Adepts are coming her way. Still just cool, producing drones, no links at all. Just, she's obviously very certain that her opponent is not trying to attack her with this small little force. Might have been problematic even. I mean, Adepts can of course not attack this head-on, but they can just shade away into your main base where no defenses are. So that could have been a bit problematic. Of course, there are now roaches on the way, so she would probably have defended it fairly easily, but not without losses, I guess. So, once more, a bit lucky that her opponent is not really pushing her way. Or maybe it was just pure cold calculation, because she's already analyzed the game of her opponent. Mind you that a lot of these players stream their games very often, so as a player of the league you can of course just study your opponents 1 week before you play them. So yeah, there's of course a lot of chances to just do some builds you know work specifically well against that certain opponent, if you want to. So Azylis is taking up 3rd base. She would be ahead 1 base if she manages to get it up and survive that long. There's not a lot of Rogue Ravager, and Azylis now knows. Yeah, this is, like I said, too late. She just cancels the shade and returns back to her base safely. But this is again problematic. She has the same composition she had in the first game, and her composition just won't cut it against Rogue Ravager. Especially if Novea just builds some more of them, which she does right now. There's another Stargate incoming, and with the 1 Stargate she already has, she tries to build some Void Rays. Void Rays might be a good answer if she manages to get out enough of them, and of course manages to just keep them away from the bile shots of the Ravagers. Then they are really potent, because Roaches can't shoot up, and Void Rays deal extra damage against armored units. While, again, as we said before, Ravagers have no armored tag. They are also shot down quite easily by Void Rays if, and I have to say it again, you manage to stay out of the biles with your Void Rays, which you should do. It's not that difficult to do it. Biles take quite some time. So it seems as if Azylis really wants to go for some heavy air army, trying to build the Golden Armada in some ways. I mean, we have 4 Oracles out, and Oracles just kill everything that's light pretty easily, especially workers. So if she manages to get inside Novea's base and activate all of these almost full energy oracles, this worker line is toast so quickly. But of course she has to be worried about a counter push by Novea. The supplies are almost even. Okay, there's nothing here. Oh no, she tries to kill the base! That's actually, I don't know if I really like this decision. I mean, 4 oracles, as you can see, can kill a base fairly easily. It takes some time and a lot of energy, but you can do it if your opponent is not having anything against it. But yeah, I don't know if it was really... I mean, it's 300 minerals that Novea has lost right now, but she just retakes the 3rd base up here and will probably be more prepared the next time around. There's 8 mutas coming, and oracles can shoot air, so the next time the oracles try to move in, there will be nothing they can really shoot. And like I said, flying into a worker line and just killing everything off, I think would have been more worthwhile at that moment. But at least she's managed to get her own third base up. She's still even in supply. So this game looks a lot better than the games before. So even trying to get more of her units, no, she seems a bit indecisive, trying to build more oracles, now even some phoenixes. Yeah, since she's now being attacked by all these mutas, she wants to have something in her air army that's good against mutas. Okay, at the moment we have only a few stalkers and the void rays. Actually, you don't need to activate the void rays against mutas because they are light, and the prismatic alignment only works against armored units. But of course, that's always being nervous and panicking at the certain moment. Oh, even supply blocking Novea here for a moment. Third base is finally up, but not even saturated. So it's 61 probes to 41. And if we have a look at the income tab, it's almost 500 minerals more every minute, and even more gas. So Protoss is up ahead in gas and in minerals, but of course Azylis has to be careful not to die against this Road Ravager and Muta push right now, and it seems as if she doesn't have enough on the ground. The units down here now with the prismatic alignment try to fire, well, should actually normally be firing at the roaches, but they can't because they first have to take out the mutas. So Novea not really taking a chance, trying to throw some vials onto the void rays, but she's just crushing through everything now, just moving forward with her brute force army, trying to tear down whatever she can take down at the moment. Is she even producing more mutalisks at the moment? She knows that there's not such a big air army of Azylis, so she might be able to kill the air army off with the second push. Now, okay, after killing off the third base of Azylis, she now loses all of her army actually. I think that was a bit wasteful of Novea here. Of course, retreating would have been difficult as well. These units are all pretty quick. But still, I think it would have made sense after killing off this Nexus to just retreat and keep as many units alive as you can. But Novea now investing into her mutas more, but Azylis has already taken her lead in the supply. More mutalisks coming in from Novea. I don't know if this is really going to work out. It depends if Azylis commits to more phoenixes or not. There's also one corruptor coming out to help out with potential phoenixes. And now Novea, of course, is using the actual strength of mutas by just flying in, using their great mobility to fly in where no protection is available, killing off more workers. There are the phoenixes incoming. This is a lot of phoenixes. Holy crap, are these a lot of phoenixes. So actually she could... Wow, they're not just barely not quick enough to follow. Killing off killing off some of these mutas every once in a while. So, okay, flying over the third base, fourth has already been retaken, and all the probes have been put there. Of course, that's a wise decision, just taking the gases for the great gas costs of these Zerg units she wants to build. But yeah, mutas are actually not really a choice. Corruptors now in the making. Novea knows that she's up against a big air army, tries to get some heavy hitters into her air army before it's too late. But now the big air army of Azylis is moving in. We have more phoenixes incoming. The void ray is trying to get rid of some of the buildings, and now she has to be careful with the phoenixes. They are the corruptors. You normally want to use the void rays against the corruptors and the phoenixes against the mutalisks, but it's a bit difficult to handle all of this right now and not losing everything. Now has to be careful with their oracles, but now the mutas are just right. Oh, they're just right in the middle of them, destroying every oracle that's there, losing another one, even one to a spore crawler there. It was looking like it. And there's the last. Is that the last oracle that's going down? No, we have two more, but they are just at home, so they have just been built. And now Azylis has unfortunately lost her advantage. Trying to get more air armor done, trying to build more phoenixes, but the more corruptors get in, the less valuable the phoenixes become. Now she has to fight the army head on, so even the mutas can kill the phoenixes, because normally that's what you want to use with the phoenixes. And there's GG, and Novea takes a convincing 3-0.